Hi, welcome along to Transfer Daily, the show that takes a look at players linked with a January transfer move to Arsenal. And today there's quite a lot of rumours flying around. One rumour that this has been around for a couple of weeks, but we're hearing today that Arsenal are very keen on this move and are in secret talks, according to the Daily Express newspaper, with Alexandre Lacazette. Now, this guy at the moment, he is very, very hot. He's been banging in the goals over there in France in Ligue 1 for Lyon. I think he scored about a total of about 24 goals already this season. So he's dynamite at the moment. Young, only 23 years of age, been around on the French sort of youth circuit for a while and has been doing well, but has become the main man at Lyon. And we're hearing today that Arsenal have held secret talks with the player. They're interested in probably bringing him in the summer, we're being told, even though they would have loved to have made it happen now. They're not going to be able to get hold of him now. But maybe with a view to bringing Lacazette to Arsenal in the summer. If you've seen any of the goals he scored, he's a real sort of poacher. He's got pace, he's got skill. He seems to have a very good all-round game, but that is in France, by the way. He hasn't yet been tested in, like, say, the Champions League, or he hasn't sort of been tested at the you know, say, Premier League or any higher level of that. But good players have come out of France, and we're hearing that Lacazette, heavily linked with Arsenal, would be very expensive. The president of Lyon was quoted a couple of weeks ago as saying that if Wilfred Boney went for 28 million, then I'm rating Lacazette at about 28 million as well. And I think there's no way on earth Arsenal or any other club at the moment are going to pay that sort of money for Lacazette. But definitely a player apparently that's on Arsenal's radar. Another player that Arsenal have been looking at and have been heavily linked with today, lots of conflicting stories about him, is A.F.C. Illarremendi. And I hope I pronounced that right. It's a very difficult to pronounce. Illarremendi. Now, he's a very interesting player. Arsenal were actually heavily interested in bringing him to the club last season. He decided to join Real Madrid, and it hasn't worked out for him there. He went from Real Sociedad to Real Madrid. He's a deep-line midfield playmaker type player, young Spanish player, but, you know, real top-class player. But he hasn't got a look in at Real Madrid. One of the problems of going to Real Madrid, of course, is that they're forever buying the next superstar, and they've bought players like Toni Kroos. We're hearing they're on the verge of buying Lucas Silva, who's this sort of superstar player that we're hearing about out of Brazil, a player also been linked to previously as well. But we're hearing that Real Madrid are looking to buy Lucas Silva from Cruzeiro. If they buy him and they've already got Toni Kroos, where does that leave Illarremendi? Arsenal, who were interested in him before, have renewed their interest, of gone to Real Madrid and said, you know, what's the likelihood of you selling him? And Spanish newspaper Marca, which is a newspaper that's very, very close to Real Madrid Football Club, have said that Arsenal have tabled a bid for the player. We have, however, since heard from Carlo Ancelotti, the manager of Real Madrid, that he said that Illarremendi is not for sale at the moment. We're not looking to sell him. Hasn't featured much in the squad, Ancelotti said, but that doesn't mean he's not an important player. Listen, sounds a bit like the Joel Campbell scenario, you know what I mean, where Arsene Wenger will be saying he's an important player, but he's hardly getting games. The Illarremendi thing, I doubt that will happen now. That won't happen now in the January transfer window. But again, that is another one that could be quite interesting come the summer. Arsenal may look to go in for him because, as I said, they were definitely in for him before he went for Real Madrid. Arsene Wenger's an admirer. He's not exactly, even though a lot of people describe him as a holding midfielder, he's not exactly a holding midfielder. He's more what I describe as like a deep-lying midfielder, a bit like Toni Kroos is at Real Madrid. But yeah, he could definitely come in and do a job at Arsenal, definitely be an effective player. And we'll have to wait to see that if Arsenal do try and make a move for him in the January transfer window, or if it's going to be something where they're going to try and go for him in the summer. Another Spanish player that Arsenal been linked with. Been linked with a lot of Spanish players. We heard during the week that they were linked to this guy, Jose Luis Gaya. He plays for Valencia. And we were being told that Arsenal have made a £15 million bid for him. He's a left back, plays for Valencia. Again, one of the top prospects in Spain at the moment. Well, we've been told that that bid has been rejected by Valencia. Valencia, of course, now are not short of cash. They've got a new owner and from Singapore owner who's very, very rich indeed, billionaire. So they don't need to just offload their players like they would have had to have done a couple of seasons ago. And we were also hearing that the players saying that, you know, I'm happy to stay at the Mestalla. I don't really want to leave Valencia. He's making all the right noises for them. So it looks like that deal will not be one that's happening. I couldn't see why at the moment Arsenal would want him anyway, because as I said, we've got Kieran Gibbs playing in that position. And also, of course, you've got Nacho Monreal, who's doing very, very well at left back as well. Unless Arsene Wenger's looking at it and thinking it's a player that he can move into playing that sort of left wing position. It has been a bit of a problem for Arsenal over the seasons. Maybe he's looking at him in that position, but regardless of that, he's saying that he is going nowhere at the moment. Gaya, he's going to be staying at Valencia. And another player that has been heavily linked with Arsenal. We understand that Arsenal have made 2 bids for this guy. Both bids have been rejected. And that was Marcelo Brozovic, another one again that was a bit difficult to understand why we want to at this stage. He's an attacking midfielder, creative midfielder. We seem to have an abundance of players in those positions, although Arsene Wenger does like an attacking midfielder. Well, we were told that Arsenal have made 2 bids for him, which had been rejected by his club, Dynamo Zagreb. We're now being told that the player's set to join Inter Milan on loan, with a view to it becoming a permanent deal in the summer. Deal thought to be around about, it would cost Inter Milan around about €6 million. And it looks like he's going to be off there. Inter Milan at the moment really spending a lot of money and really making a lot of moves for players. But yes, we're being told that is looking likely at the moment. So Brozovic doesn't look like he's going to be heading to the Emirates Stadium. But one player that definitely looks to me like this is going to happen, subject to the work permit issues being sorted out, and that is the deal for Gabriel Paulista. We've been talking about it here. Brazilian player, Brazilian born, plays for Valencia over there in Spain, has been having a really good season. He's just come from nowhere, this guy. Remember, he doesn't even play for the Brazilian team, but he seems to fit the criteria that Arsenal are looking for. A player that would be happy to work his way into the team, a player that long-term could become a very good defender for Arsenal. Very strong, very powerful, brave, and quick, and also left-sided, which means he can cover for Laurent Koscielny. He can fit in there perfectly and cover in that position. Well, very interestingly, he has been left out of the squad today, the Villarreal squad, to play Levante. He has been left out of that, and that is a massive indicator for a player that has been a regular in the team and has been a main player in the team all season. For him to be left completely out of the squad for that game, for him, he's not injured, that is a massive indicator that he is on his way to Arsenal. And it's going to be a matter of, can Arsenal get this work permit issue sorted out? Can they get that sorted out? If they can get that sorted out, they're going to be able to get this deal over the line. And I think Paulista is definitely going to be that centre-back signing that Arsene Wenger is looking at. If this, what I think is going to happen with this scenario is that if they're not able to get the work permit issue sorted out, then they'll go back in for whoever their second target is. which could be somebody like a Winston Reid or somebody like that. And then you could see like our usual last day scramble for Arsenal to try and pull off one of these deals for a centre back. So how I think the scenario is that Arsene Wenger knows that the main person he wants to bring in is Paulista. It's obvious now. It's obvious. Arsene Wenger came out and admitted it. He never does that unless he's dead certain that he's going to get a player. Paulista's been left out of that Valencia squad. They don't want him to get injured. So it looks to me like something terms-wise, money-wise has been agreed. It's all going to hinge on this work permit issue. If they get the work permit issue done, he's going to be an Arsenal player, I think. If they don't get the work permit issue done, then they'll go in for the other targets that they've been looking at. But Paulista, to me, definitely target number one for Arsene Wenger. Wow, lots of transfers flying around. Don't forget, we got that big match tomorrow against Brighton. Brighton away, looking forward to that. It should be a great game in the FA Cup. Of course, we are the holders of the FA Cup. We are being told that there's going to be a start for Mesut Ozil, there's going to be a start for Theo Walcott. But one thing I know, we cannot be complacent in that game. Brighton, in their last game, they beat the leaders, Ipswich, at home, of the leaders of the Championship, Ipswich. They beat them. Chris Hughton's in charge there. They've been going very well since he's come in there. So we cannot be complacent. That's going to be a difficult game. We saw last night with Manchester United taking on Cambridge United. If you're not up for it, these little teams, they are up for it. And they will come and they will go all out to try and get a result. So it's very important that Arsenal take that game seriously tomorrow. Play with the same spirit as they did against Manchester City, and I'm sure we'll get through. But looking forward to that. And don't forget, we'll be back in the morning with another Transfer Daily.